I'm Mark, and today we're going to learn about the unit circle. The unit circle has a center at the origin and a radius of 1, and it is used to determine trigonometric functions such as sine, cosine, and tangent. Now you might wonder what those are. So sine is determined by the y value. Cosine is determined by the x value, and tangent is determined by y over x, so that is sine over cosine. Now there are three more called secant, cosecant, and cotangent. And they are the inverse of all of these. So cosecant is 1 over y, secant is 1 over x, and cotangent is x over y. So each line on the unit circle signifies a special right triangle. We have a 90, 30, and 60 right here, or a 45, 45, 90. So all of these coordinates are just reflected over the axis, and that will determine what's negative and what's not. However, all the numerical values stay the same. Easy to remember this is the quadrants. Cast. In the first quadrant, all will be positive. In the second quadrant, only sine will be positive. In the third quadrant, none will be positive except for tan. And then in the fourth quadrant, only cosine will be positive. An easy way to remember the coordinates is that it's always over 2, so that's not a problem. But from going x down in the 60, it would be square root of 1, square root of 2, square root of 3, so 1, 2, 3. And then going from the same place down for the y coordinates is 3, 2, 1. So one thing you'll have to do when learning about the unit circle is convert from degrees to radians and radians to degrees. To convert degrees to radians, what you have to do is multiply by pi over 180. And then that would equal 7 pi over 6. Simple. And to convert from radians to degrees, you just have to multiply by the inverse of that. So it's going to be 180 over pi, and that would equal 150 degrees. So another problem you'll have to do is find the x and y value of a certain angle. So we see that this is 30 degrees. The x value, reminding ourselves of our trick, is going to be square root of 3 over 2. And then the y value would just be 1/2. Next, what you have to do is find a value of a certain radian or degree. Sine 2 pi, if you think about the unit circle, is just 0, so 0 is the answer. Or you'll get a coordinate, and then you have to find the value of that coordinate. Now, it's going to be secant of negative 4, 3. Negative 4 is the x value, 3 is the y value. So, you already have that. You want to find the hypotenuse. To find that, you'll use a Pythagorean theorem, but remember that this is a special right triangle. So, the hypotenuse will be 5. Cool. So, thinking about secant, secant is the inverse of cosine. So if cosine is 3 over 5, secant is 5 over 3. So next, the last thing we'll have to find out are what coterminal angles are. Coterminal angles are an angle in the same position of a previous angle. So what you have to do to find a positive and negative one is add or subtract by 2 pi. Now, they want to find 2 positive and 2 negative coterminal angles to pi. All you have to do is add 2 pi. To find the first one, you'll get 3 pi. And add 2 pi to that, and you'll get 5 pi. So there are 2 positive coterminal angles. To find the 2 negative, you want to get pi and subtract 2 pi from that. So you'll have negative pi, and then to find the next one, subtract 2 pi again, which will be negative 3 pi.